come in with an open mind and with an expectancy of change in your life.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I am Carolyn Williams, the founder and starter of Shifting Your Life podcast. I am so excited that you decided to join us on our first episode. And I have my special friend here, Elissa Boudreau. I am excited that she is one of the first people that I get a chance to interview today on Shifting Your Life broadcast. Shifting Your Life broadcast is about what it's going to be is about the quality of your life. When we thinking about shifting, that's what it's basically talking about, is shifting your life. And in the midst of you shifting your life, what happens and how are you going to make that be better, or how you're going to make it be worse. But mostly the guests that are going to be on this show are going to be giving you pointers to help you know what you need to do. They're going to share their experiences from their businesses aspect, from their life aspect, and just kind of give you some pointers on ways that maybe you can shift your life. And so again, I am excited to have Elissa Boudreau. I'm so happy that you decided to join me today, Elissa, on this broadcast. I wanted to say that, we have a podcast as well together, Sips After Six. And so it's very important that we stay connected. We stay connected, and we always are striving to go higher. And so, in the midst of us not having Sips at Six, God has shifted both our lives in kind of a different way. And so, I thank you again for coming on today. And so, one of the questions that I had, the first question that I have for you, Elissa, is when you hear the word shift, when you hear that word shift, what does it mean to you? Because again, shifting your life, it says that shifting your life is about the quality or the state of being. And so, when you hear that word shifting, what does that mean to you?
Well, when I look at the word shift, it could either go left or it could go right.
Mm-hmm.
And in a positive mindset, of course, it is meaning changing the atmosphere,
Changing the atmosphere,
changing your mindset,
mm-hmm.
game changing, spiritual cleansing.
Yes, I like that, spiritual cleansing.
Just another push into another realm or another dimension.
Yes.
So when somebody say shift to me, I'm jumping up shouting. I'm like, okay,
Yes.
it's about to be a shift, and I already know it's going right. It ain't going left. It's going right.
And I think that that's what Shifting Your Life podcast is basically going to be about. It's about bringing people in that can share about shifting their life spiritually, because shifting our life spiritually takes on a whole different meaning than just shifting your life in generally. And so I like when you said that about shifting your life spiritually. And so the second question that I have for you is, as a woman, because what this is National Women's Month, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and so as a woman that plays an important role in history, because you are in history, you have made your mark in history.
Okay.
You have, whether you think so or not, but you have. And so as a woman that plays an important role in history, what have you contributed over this period of your life to shift the atmosphere around you?
Positivity, the resilience that I didn't really know I had until I just kept bouncing back, and I'm like, wow, I came back from that.
Yes.
Wow, I came back from that. Wow, I came back from that. And just knowing that I know who I am now, knowing that everything that I went through was for purpose, and it brought me into the space that I'm in right now. And even though it was so hard, I mean, I don't want to sit up here and feel like somebody feels sorry for me, but
Right.
to fight for your life twice is a hard pill.
It's a hard thing.
To look at your children in the midst of you trying to fight for your life, knowing that they just lost the father, they just lost
Right.
the grandmother, at the same time, you like, oh my God, what can I do?
That alone was a shift
Yes,
of your life, a
totally.
totally shift in your
Yes,
family life.
yes,
And yes, that prompted you to it shifted your life so much to where you kind of like
mm-hmm.
wanted to shut down.
I did.
And then God came back in again, shifted that thing again.
What God does is He send people in your life, and we be like, I don't need people, but you do need certain people
You
in your
do.
life,
Yes.
to come in and inspire you or to encourage you, especially when you're always an encourager. You're always the one out pouring, pouring, pouring. God had to kind of shift me
Yes.
into a lot of boundaries. He had to shift me into a new mindset. He had to shift me into understanding that some people are going to fall off, and that's
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
He had to shift me into knowing who I was and how to walk in it.
Yes.
So the shift of everything that I've been through has been just like remarkable, because when it came down to it, I'm like, God, I'm so tired of bouncing back. Yes. When am I going to move forward?
But you shifted. You had to shift because, and when I say history, you have played a role in that, because for your family,
yes,
and for your girls,
yes,
the shifting that you did allowed them to see that even sometimes when we have shifts, it's good.
Yes.
And even sometimes when we have shifts, it's bad.
Yes.
But I think that this last time this shifting has came in your life, Elissa, that this has really allowed not just your girls, your family, people that you encourage and mentor to on a daily basis. I think that it has allowed them to see that even though you may didn't feel like it affected anyone, or but it did. I think that the young men who you speak to, it allows them to see, because by you telling me the other day about one of the young men seeing you in the store, and how he came to you. See, that's history.
Yes.
You have made your mark in history, whether you think so or not. You have made your mark in history for him to recognize you.
Yes.
Even though it has changed over time, you have changed over time. He still recognized you.
Me.
The shift that you made in his life.
Yes. And I think just being bold now, knowing who I am, speaking up for myself, yes, and like I said, building the boundaries, and also building my repertoire or my educational background, and just different things that I'm doing, the marks that I've made in this historical life that I have.
Yes.
Bouncing back, God said now it's time for wisdom.
Yes.
So let's use some wisdom now with all of this resilience. You've bounced back enough. You've mastered that already.
Yes.
Okay, let me see if you can master wisdom. So I ain't gonna lie, it's a hard road, because, you're human.
Yes.
And some things you don't want to even know about. You don't want to feel. You don't want to feel through them.
Yeah.
So wisdom is feeling through things and knowing how to react when you go through
It's
them.
funny that you said wisdom, because the scripture for Shifting Your Life podcast is Proverbs 1:7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and instruction.
Of course. And I tell people all the time, they used to say, communication is the key. Communication is not the key, because what unlocks the door is the understanding.
It's the understanding.
And the Bible says that in everything get an understanding. And so people have lost that part of it. So I had to come in and get an understanding of me, get an understanding of where I was really going. And I was just telling my daughter this morning, you don't want to be my age learning who you are. You want to know right now. Because this is going to be the beginning of your teenage to adult years, and those mistakes are the ones that really ground you. Yes. Those are the ones that give you whatever you need. You got to be ready for it. You got to be ready for society.
So you're also preparing her to shift her life.
Yes.
Because I did see Milani on Facebook, where she's reading the word and she's listening to scriptures and spiritual songs, and so in essence, she's been watching you, Elissa, and I can see that she's getting ready to shift her life to that wisdom we just talked about in scripture. Yes. That wisdom in the communication.
Yes.
See, she's not a fool. She's not a fool. to that. And so I thank you so much. We're getting ready to take a break right now with Shifting Your Life podcast. And I'm so excited that Elissa continue to be here. We got some more questions
Yes.
that we're going to talk with you about, Elissa. And um, I'm just excited about where this is going to go and the people that it's going to reach.
Yes.
I'm very excited about that. And so as we prepare for a break, we are going to just give a minute and thank our sponsors, which is Healing Hearts Grief Support Group, which is, and Elissa, of course, she's always a supporter of Healing Hearts Grief Support Group. And so we support each other.
Yes.
We support each other in the community. We support each other's vision. We support each other's purpose. And it's very important that you network with someone in your community that you support. Always reach out to someone that you can support. And we'll see you in just a second. Okay, good evening, good evening. Again, we're here with Miss Elissa Boudreaux, and y'all, she has so much that she's doing. She's a little woman in stature, but baby, she got a lot of things going on inside of that mind of hers. I just want to kind of quickly just share with you some of the things that she's doing here in Baton Rouge, and really she's all over the world. It's not just centered here in Baton Rouge. She is the director of Lotus Worldwide. She is the director of Sisters Supporting Sisters, and she's on every Monday morning at 5 a.m. So you guys make sure if you want to come on and listen, she gives us some words of wisdom to take us through the week. Then she has Simple Lives podcast that she will be launching real soon.
Really
so
soon.
y'all stay on the lookout for that. Like I told you earlier, we have a podcast that we do called Sips at Six, but God came in, he kind of shifted both our lives, but we still are going to plan on coming together doing at least one episode of Sips at Six, because I think that we had a good crowd, Elissa. We did. And so we have to get back to that. And so, of course, then she is the director of Exposed Domestic Violence Organization. She is the lady. She is the lady that you need to point your sisters, your brothers to, if they are going through domestic violence. And yes, I said brothers because so often we leave out our men. We leave out our men when we talk about domestic violence. But that is the lady, Elissa Boudreaux. You make sure that you get in touch with her. She's on Facebook. She's on Instagram. And so, Elissa, thank you again for being on Shifting Your Life podcast. The question that I have for you, I want you, and I want you to be honest. I don't want you to be picking nothing. I want this to be one of them honest questions that you're going to answer, Elissa.
Yes,
I want you to share with us something that no one knows about you.
I'm an introvert.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I would never imagine that. No,
I like to
Elissa.
be by myself.
I cannot believe that, because you walk in the room, baby, and own it like you've been there before.
I am a loner more than an introvert. I like to be alone, and I've learned how to love myself by myself.
Okay.
So I'm learning how to enjoy just my company, and it has been so peaceful that sometimes that's all I want.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
People will be like, I ain't heard from you in a couple of days. I've just been in solace with myself. I've just been at peace with myself. I've just been learning myself. I've just been feeling myself around myself. Just learning my likes and dislikes. When you have been a 24-year victim of domestic violence, you're bouncing to everybody's music.
Yes.
And so now at 53, about to be 54 in less than 2 months,
you enjoying
I'm
the silence of
how
peace.
to love me. I'm learning how to enjoy me. I'm learning how to go out and eat by myself.
Yes.
I'm learning how to sit in my house in peace by myself.
Yes, I do it all the time.
And so at this point in my life, I have nothing else to prove.
Right.
Like
I
have
you
shown
say that?
Myself over and over again what I'm capable of. Yes, I may have fallen a couple of times, but I've gotten back up. And so,
yes.
I've never given up. And this is another journey into my past right now with,
Mm-hmm.
dealing with the illnesses that I've been dealing with and stuff like that. So it
Mm-hmm.
kind of felt like it set me back, but literally it set me up because it gives me time
Yeah, say that, girl.
to
She
be
said
at home.
literally it set her up.
It
I
set me
like
up
that.
to
I
be
like
at
that.
home, girl, and to dig deep into not only myself, but into my curriculum, into education,
Yes.
into learning all about these different programs, the effective decision making, the anger management, the
Mm-hmm.
parenting 101, the theft classes that I've given, learning my clients and learning how to love them fully,
She
you
is a
know.
book of knowledge, and when she say that she's an introvert, how can you be? I cannot
I
understand that.
am like, I
When
don't have to
oh,
be
you're the
that.
social butterfly, girl. You're at everything in Baton Rouge,
It looked
outside of
like it.
Baton Rouge, everything. And so, yes, I
And
introvert.
guess what? When I'm in those places, believe it or not, and I walk into the room and own it. But I have to talk myself. Okay, you walking into this room. You don't know who gonna be in here. You might look. I'm finna walk up in here
I feel you. I feel you on that
like the
because
millionaires in here and have my head way up high. Might not have a 50 cent in my pocket. Come there saying, Lord, I hope they got something to eat.
eat. She is real, you guys.
Boo!
Let me tell
Let me
you,
tell
when
you.
I tell you this is the realest person, and I'm so happy that she is the first person on my podcast to allow you to see that even in the midst of the spiritual shifting that takes place in your life, look what comes out of it. This powerhouse right here has four organizations, and it's constantly thinking of what she can do to give back to the community. It's not so much of her. Yes, she wants to make money. Yes, she does. But she's always eager to share her knowledge with people. And so often when you have powerhouses like Elissa, she's taken advantage of. And so I just want her to know in this season, Elissa, that as God has shifted your life, it is time for you to be collecting on
Oh yes,
all of that wisdom and that knowledge that you share to people. It is time for you to be collecting on it,
I
so
received that.
that when she say she walk in the room like she a millionaire, so the next time when she come on my show, maybe later on this year or next year, she'll be able to say, "Girl, guess how much money I got? I
Bank
am
account
now.
swole.
My bank account is swole. I am a millionaire." And so I love you about that. I thank you so much for sharing that. I didn't really know that you were introvert because I wouldn't think that about you. I
Yeah,
wouldn't.
I'm really I like to share. Don't get me wrong, but I like to be in my own space.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say this. I feel safe in my own
You feel
space.
safe.
As
That's good.
a survivor of domestic
Mm-hmm.
violence, and other things that I've been through, and just being a two-time war veteran, going to being in the war,
Mm-hmm.
and the way things are going in our city,
Mm-hmm.
I'm very cautious. I'm
Okay.
very mindful of my surroundings. And so, with that being said, it's like, yes, I feel more comfortable in my
In
own
your own
home,
home.
doing my thing in my own home, knowing that when I get off that mic or if I get out of doing my business, I go
Mm-hmm.
straight to my bedroom down the hall.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know,
I understand that because I understand that very well because, like I say, I'm the same way. I have some inspirational words to live by, and so I'm gonna just randomly pick one in here,
okay.
and I want you to, talk about it. Oh, look what I chose for you. Believe in yourself.
Nobody but God, because I wanted to touch on that, really.
Believe in
Yes.
yourself, baby. God is in the midst in this podcast. That's what shifting your life is spiritually. That's what it's about. When you sit at this table, I want the Holy Spirit to fill this room, and I want it to allow you to flow to be
Right.
yourself. And so when you that there believe in yourself, what does that say about Elissa Boudreaux?
Growth.
Growth.
Um, when I say that, I say that to say this. When I say that I'm an introvert, when I say that I'm a loner, it's because at one time I really didn't
Mm-hmm.
believe in myself.
Mm-hmm.
And
And it's important that
people
you say
didn't
that.
understand that, because they would be like, you dress like this, and when you walk in the room, you are the first person. people see or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I wore this flamboyant stuff, and the nails were long, and the hair was all whatever.
Always,
And so it's
always on
like,
point.
okay,
Always.
here we go. It'll deflect from all of the pain that I'm
Mm-hmm.
going through.
Mm-hmm.
It'll deflect from what I just came out of. And
Wow,
so
that is
people
so
would look
true.
at me and be like, I had it all together, but I was
Mm-hmm.
literally falling apart.
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
so,
That
and
mask we wear
right.
up under the makeup.
And so God had to start like Humpty Dumpty. He had to start to put the pieces back together again.
Mm-hmm.
And of course I had to be broken all the way down, because no matter how you look at it, you could say I'm walking in humility and integrity, but pride will get in the way every time.
Every time, and what come after that when pride get in the
Destruction.
way? Destruction.
We
Destruction.
start making our own decisions based on how we want to feel, how we want it to go, not even realizing that in order to believe in yourself,
Mm-hmm.
you got to trust somebody, and
Got
that's
it.
the master.
Yes.
You have to ask him to order your
Yes.
steps. You have to ask him to lead and guide you. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying? So at that point, to believe in myself, I had to first learn how to trust myself. I had to first learn how to trust God. I had to first learn how to have faith, even if it was that little small mustard seed of faith.
And that's all it takes.
Yes.
And so as we get ready to wrap up Shifting Your Life podcast, I briefly want you to, all of these different things that I touched on that you are the director on, could you share with us about each one of them and what you bring to the table with them in these last few minutes of the podcast?
I can say that I am domestic violence whisperer.
She is.
I am a minister of domestic violence, and shifting my atmosphere with Lotus Worldwide is being able to touch my clients from the 19th Judicial. Shifting with Sister Supporting Sisters is just supporting sisters, giving them net worth, not network, but net worth.
Okay.
Simple Lives podcast will bring a plethora of ideas and things to the table, different people from different walks of life, and expose domestic violence. Of course, it speaks for itself. We work with the victims and their children of domestic violence, and we have a great time doing that because I do it from my heart and then from experience, and then we talk about education. So literally, when I walk up to people, I'm coming with love first.
Good, good. And so, with that being said, this is the first episode of Shifting Your Life podcast. I am so excited and happy that Elissa was here with us to take part in this. And again, Shifting Your Life podcast is where you're going to learn and you're going to grow spiritually. And as you begin to shift your life into a different in the atmosphere, it is going to shift. You're going to be able to feel it. And so what we're going to bring to the table, that each and every person that sits at this table will plant something in your life, even if you're at that milestone where you think that you cannot do it or it's not going to happen. Each person that sits here is going to plant that seed in your life that possibly will make you want to shift your life into whatever it is that God has ordained you to be, whatever God has the purpose for you to have in your life. So stay tuned. We have so many other interesting people that are going to be sitting here at this table. Thank you.
Okay. Two things. One, give me focus on this camera. Tell them how they can find you.
My name is Elissa Boudreau, and you can find me on Facebook at Elissa BEE, or you can find me on Instagram at Divatude247. That's DIVATUD 247, or Coach Elissa B. I think it's an underscore somewhere. It should pull up ELISSA. Can't miss me. They don't have many of us out there. You can also reach me on my personal cell because I take personal calls and I believe in person to person. So 225-453-2349, and you can email me, of course, at coachElissaBEE@gmail.com.
Okay. And Miss Carolyn, focus over here and say tune into the next Shifting My Life. You would say Shifting Your Life, but Shifting
My Life.
Yeah, podcast with my guests, and you introducing us, so that way it'll be to promote as we get ready for your first episode.
So you want me to say tune into Shifting My Life, Shifting Your Life
Yeah, podcast.
Podcast.
And with my special guest.
With my special guest.
And pretty much, she gonna just say her name again.
Okay.
All right, but looking. I want you to look at this camera from this angle. Go ahead.
Tune in to Shifting Your Life podcast with my special guest, Elissa Boudreau, and we look forward to you tuning in for the next one. Thank you.